guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Madison, and if not, then welcome back. Today I am going to be talking about something I did when I was last in Walt Disney World in February, and that is the Caring for Giants tour at Animal Kingdom. So I heard about the Caring for Giants tour when I was watching a YouTube video. I had never heard about it before, but I watched someone do it and I thought it just seemed like something that was really cool. My sister is particularly interested in elephants. Her whole bedroom is elephant themed. She has an elephant tattoo. She just absolutely loves them. I'm not usually one to do tours at Walt Disney World because it costs so much money for me to fly to Orlando from Scotland and then to pay to stay and to buy tickets. It's a lot of money to add on a $120 tour or something like that. So I tend not to do them. I do know a lot of information about the park, so I don't always feel like a tour is going to be the best use of my money. But when I found out the price of the Caring for Giants tour on YouTube, I was so excited. It is only $30 per person to do the tour. Granted, it's only 1 hour, but to me, $30 seems like such a steal for Walt Disney World tours, and you get to go backstage, you get to spend time with the elephants. What more could you ask for? So I learned about the experience, and when we were going, it would be a week after my sister's birthday, so I decided this was a perfect time to do the tour. So I called about a month before, and I was able to have a selection of any of the times that they were doing the tour, so it really doesn't book up that quickly, although I'm not sure about summer months and, busy weekends like race weekends and stuff like that. But when I called, it was pretty flexible for a month ahead and I was able to book my tour. They did take the payment when I called as opposed to paying on the day of the tour, so it was nice to just get everything out of the way and know that on the day I just had to show up. So on the morning of the tour, our tour was at 9:30. We were going to be spending a half day at Animal Kingdom, so I thought it would be best to do the earliest tour and get it out of the way. We left the hotel and we showed up to Animal Kingdom to the Auto Plaza to pay for parking at 8:45 in the morning, thinking that this would give us 45 minutes to pay to park, and walk to the kiosk where we would register for the tour. We showed up to the Auto Plaza and the traffic was insane. It took us easily 20 minutes just to get up to the gates to pay for parking, and then again we had to wait in another really long queue to park the car. So we were parked in the dinosaur section at the very back of the parking lot, and then we had to wait for a tram to get to the front of the park. So when we got to the front of the Animal Kingdom gates, it was 9:27. Now, we were supposed to be there 15 minutes early to check in for the tour, so we were already late for that, and to top it off, the queues were pouring out from the gate to the vacation planning booths and sort of further out towards the parking lot. So it was definitely a really busy morning. It was race weekend and the weekend after Memorial Day, so obviously we just didn't plan correctly, but we were really freaking out when we showed up. So in a sort of last minute effort, we went to guest relations and we said, look, our tour starts in 3 minutes. Is there any way that we could go in through a tour entrance as opposed to the regular entrance that everyone else is standing in? And the gentleman said he just couldn't help us. To be honest, he really seemed like he didn't want to help us and like he was sort of blaming us for getting there late, but he didn't know our story. We got there 45 minutes early. I thought that that would be plenty of time. So I didn't really appreciate that attitude, but at the same time, there was nothing he could do. So we walked over to a really nice looking family and we just asked if we could go in ahead of them. And the dad was joking with us, and at first he said no in a really sort of strict tone, and my sister and I were taken back, like, oh man, we offended this guy, but he was really nice. He started laughing and he let us go ahead. So we went into the park at 9:27, and I do not run in Disney parks. You're not allowed to run in Disney parks, but we walked faster than I've ever walked in my entire life, all the way to the back of Africa by Kilimanjaro Safaris, where we checked in for the tour. Now, we pulled up at about 9:32. I was out of breath, I was sweaty, my family was hightailing it behind me, and I got to the girl, I said, look, we're here for the tour, and she said, they've already left. So I was devastated. I thought I was gonna cry in that moment. My sort of emotions were so up from walking so quickly and being so stressed about getting there on time. And we said, look, we asked at guest relations if they could let us in. They said they couldn't do anything about it. Is there anything else we can do? And she said, we can reschedule you for a tour at 12:30. Now, I didn't really want to be on a 12:30 tour because we had our whole day planned out. We had our fast passes planned out. It was our time to do this now, and that was in the plans, but at the same time we were late and I did understand that there was nothing they could do. However, she was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Amanda. And she called back to the tour, asked if the bus had left yet, and when they said no, she asked her fellow cast member if they could come back and get us. So we quickly signed the waivers, we quickly received our name badges, which were made out of recycled animal poop, and we headed backstage with the cast member that came to pick us up to a bus full of people that looked like they wanted to kill us for being late. So we got to the bus. We weren't allowed to take any pictures when we were backstage. We exited into backstage by the Kilimanjaro Safaris and we walked behind Tusker House and the Festival of the Lion King area. So it was really cool to see people walking around in costume prepared for either going to Tusker House to serve or to be part of the Festival of the Lion King. And then from the bus, we got to drive all the way around the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, and we went back behind the area where the sunset shines on the nighttime safaris, and then we went all the way back to sort of the backmost area where you can meet the elephants. So our bus driver took us in and let us off there, at which point we were told that once we got up to the burn, is what it was called, that's when we could start taking pictures again. So we headed up to the burn to get a look at the elephants, and it ended up being an incredible day and an incredible time. I'm so happy that we were able to get on the 9:30 tour because they were doing something special that day. On the day that we arrived for our tour, the conservation scientists at Animal Kingdom had decided that they were going to be socializing 2 male elephants. So traditionally, the female elephants stick together in a herd and the males are solitary. You do usually see this on the Kilimanjaro Safari ride because you'll pass an elephant that will be alone. The drivers will usually tell you that they're there by themselves because they're a male, and then you'll turn the corner and you'll see all the females together in a different area. But on this day, the specialists decided that they needed to socialize 2 of the younger males and let them get to know each other. And so the females were brought backstage and the males were brought on stage. And the specialists were back there taking pictures, recording data, watching them, videoing them, everything that they could do to sort of monitor their behavior. And what was really interesting is that if we had gone out there with females, they all know each other, they spend their day-to-day with each other, so they wouldn't have been that active apart from their normal day-to-day morning routine. However, since the males were new to each other, they didn't know each other well, they both had to sort of compete for that alpha male position. There was a lot of playing, there was a lot of roughhousing, there was a lot of sort of PG-13 action going on. Rolling around in the mud.
Oh yeah. Sometimes we put 2 females out there and it throws safaris for a loop too.
Everything. It was so cool. So while you're up on the burn, guests get to watch the elephants play and interact while an Animal Kingdom cast member talks to you about the conservation efforts at Animal Kingdom and sort of the way Animal Kingdom works with the elephants. So that goes on for about 15 minutes or so, and then they bring in another cast member that is from a country in southern Africa where elephants are native to, and they talk to you about the conservation efforts that are going on in Africa to sort of protect the elephants and help their numbers. So it was really interesting to get 2 different perspectives, the Animal Kingdom perspective and the African perspective, and we got to learn all about sort of their habits, their pregnancy periods, the way that farmers are working on keeping elephants off of their property. It is a big problem in Africa right now. There were a lot of different interesting things that they told us. And then for the last couple of minutes of the tour, they stopped talking, they let everyone have a moment to sort of take pictures with the elephants of themselves on the burn, and things like that. So it was really, really cool. We were so excited and so lucky to be there on the day that we were there. We spent so much time just watching the elephants play because they were doing really cool things. And on the tour, it's so cool because you're standing on one side, the elephants are between you, and on the other side you can see the Kilimanjaro Safari drivers with their trucks full of people coming through.
She is amazing though, right? She brought you here.
Yeah, but she shouldn't take us away.
Right. So they're back in our barnyard area. If you go on our safari later, you might see them.
So it was really cool to be on the other side, because I know that when I'm on the safari, I always think, who are those people out there? They're so lucky that they get to do that. And truly we were. So when the excursion was over, we were brought back to the bus and then driven back to the backstage area by Tusker House and walked back into the park, at which point we were left to do our own thing for the rest of the day. So it wasn't a super walking intensive tour by any means. You get on a bus, then you stand at the burn, and then you get back on a bus. And it wasn't anything over the top. You're not given any food. You're not sort of taken on a tour of any areas. You're just stationary in one location and being given information about the elephants specifically. But for $30 and for a family that loves elephants, I thought this was truly, truly worth it. I think it's best that we did it in the morning and then we had the rest of our day available, although I think any time during the day would have been good as well. And I absolutely would do it again if I had the chance. $30 is really not that much. Definitely worth doing, and if you want to see any backstage areas, it's a really easy way to get to go backstage at Animal Kingdom and see something different. So hopefully if you're going to the Animal Kingdom in the future, that's something you get to do. I'm wondering if you guys knew about this tour, if this is new information to you. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if it's something you'd be interested in, because it was so cool and I'm so happy I got to do it, and I would definitely do it again if I was going back. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye!
Also point two cameras too, if you'd like. You want your whole group? Yeah, if you can. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. You guys want to back it out? That's the best job.
Thank you for the information.
Yeah, of course. And working, volunteering at any zoo.
Yeah. I volunteer at some just little, because I live in the middle of nowhere in New Jersey.
Yeah.
But the closest.
They do have a really big space. This yard is about a little over 4 acres. Oh, there they go.
I guess you're not over yet.
No.
You're getting.
And this is how very important with these guys. Just making sure you're rewarding them for good behaviors. So if you positively reinforce something enough, you can make it good for them.
They sleep laying down?
They will. Yeah, they'll completely lay down on the ground. That's going to be when they're sleeping at night, though, for like multiple hours. If they're taking like a 15-minute nap or something, they will stay standing up. A lot of times they'll just like rest their trunks on the.
So with our boys, we only have 3, so we had all boys out here.